Hey, welcome to the RAMMBOCK Dev Log 4. I'm Nick, aka Hybrid Mink, making this video for Patreon people and people just interested in the development of this game. RAMMBOCK. Patreon.com/hybridmink if you'd like to support development of this game. But let's get into it. I was hoping to start the level 1 boss fight. I got most of the enemies. I think I'll end up adding a few more, but most of the enemies in level 1 are in place. They're working pretty well. So I'm like, I think I'm ready to work on the boss. But first, let's tackle this list of all the things I've been putting aside. Because a lot of times I put something aside, and I'll just bang it out while I'm working on it. But this time, I'm like, the list's getting pretty long. Before I start working on the boss, let's try and whittle it down as much as possible. And that's pretty much what last month was, on top of Artist Alley, convention stuff, and holiday and all that. But I still managed to get a lot done. So let's jump right in. That's me. There we go. Yeah, here's Godot, as always. Fun fact, I made this video a little while ago, and Godot crashed. I'm like, you know what? Start over. Make something better. So, we're going to start from the beginning. I worked on the bonus formations earlier in the month. They were originally spawned from enemies, but there were some that were in the level. And I'm like, let's just make it uniform. Let's put them all in the level. Where's my scroll bar? There it is. So, for example... let's see, where's one? Here's one. So this is the formation right here. And if you take out this formation fast enough, it has a variable that says, okay, these guys will spawn in. And this is actually kind of a harder one to get. So it's like, maybe on repeat playthroughs you'll get it, but not always. So that was one thing I had to do. And it makes things a lot smoother now. For sounds, I had a lot of sound effects overlapping. So I decided to put them on a global sound handler where we preload the sounds, and then they say, if this is playing, don't play this, or we allow certain things to overlap. So this global was barely doing anything, by the way. It had like these player globals, and that was about it. They were being changed elsewhere. But yeah, now we have a global sound handler. Not for everything, but a lot of things. I'm sure this thing will just get bigger and bigger over time. The RAM, I'm going all over the place, by the way, because, like I said, this was just like a list of things that need to be tweaked. The RAM hitbox, arguably the most important hitbox in the game, I tweaked again. Every month, I believe, I've touched the RAM hitbox. So what I did was, I started with it like this, a little small, and then as the animation starts up, pink means that it's active, it stretches a little bit. This way, if you have enemies right in front of other enemies, it will hit the first one, get the hit stop, and then it won't hit the one before. What I was getting was, when enemies were really close together, it would hit both of them, and they would go flying. This is a game about chaining enemies into other enemies, so you want to make sure that the player knows exactly when an enemy is going to hit another enemy. So, basically, it just, like, it gets bigger, and then, see, it recoils, and even after the recoil, I added an additional stretch just in case, because this game is constantly moving and enemies are constantly moving towards you. And I found that just adding this extra, like, couple of frames of extension made it feel so much better. So these are things that you get from playtesting. And then it goes back to normal, yada yada. But I'm pretty happy with how the RAM hitbox is working. If you'd like to know more about that, I think I talked about it in previous devlogs. Yeah, just moving right along. I added a little bit of a sprite trail whenever you do an advanced technique. So there's a couple different advanced techniques that I would consider advanced. I'm going to go into those at the end of the video. But basically, if you remember like Mega Man X or those other games where when you dash, you get a bit of a stripe trail and like fades back. Now you get a bit of a pink trail, which you'll see once I play. And I will play soon. Let's see. I had to tweak and fix the low screen whiplashes. The whiplash is when you ram into an enemy, you bounce back a little bit. And what I was getting was sometimes under certain conditions, if you're near the bottom of the screen, you would like jolt down and then back up. Now it uses, I believe I'm using an on-screen notifier at the bottom of the ship, which detects the bottom of the screen during a tween, and then it just stops. Just like the dash attack on the top of the screen. Again, previous video, the dash attack was a ton of work. And I'm like, why don't I just take some of that work and implement it into the ram attack? And yeah, now you don't fly off screen. I'm sure I will when I add more stuff later, but right now, it works. Next up, the point-blank dash. That's something I might want to show you. But basically, I had a, let's just call it a glitch. If you were near a bullet, really close to a bullet, I would get hit stop when I dashed through it. It's because I have the dash destroy projectiles. But if it was overlapping, my code said that it would run the normal hit stop that I have for enemies getting hit with a dash. So I was getting like a weird hit stop, and I'm like, well, that's weird, I should get rid of that. Or I could use it. And what I did was, if you are overlapping a bullet at the start of your dash, you now get full energy meter. So I'm hoping running through these things ahead of time and then showing you as I go might be the way to go. But I think I'm going to jump in and just show you some of these things, and then we'll get back to the list. I'll just go full screen. Got a bit of a chapter title here, too, as well. So, let's see. What's the first thing I can show you? Sound inhaler? Nope. RAM hitbox? No, it doesn't matter. I think, yeah, I'll just show you the point-blank dash as these guys come in. So here they come in. I have full meter. Let's just get rid of that. See a bit of a distortion effect there. And then I have a debug slow-mo right now, just so you could see it. And whoop, you get like the purple trail on there, and see full energy meter. Normally, you wouldn't get that much, but yeah. You build energy meter typically by killing enemies, ramming them, etc. I did. So yeah, that's the point-blank dash. That is what I consider an advanced technique. You see the pinkish-purple glow around your ship when that happens, so you kind of get an idea. And then the other advanced technique would be the ram and cancel, which you can cancel out of the dash or the ram. I'll show you that real quick. I tweaked it a little bit, but I don't remember what. A lot of little tweaks I didn't even write down. Destructible right here. Hint, hint. So I can go like this, and you just cancel it. I'll do it in slow-mo this time. Boom, cancel. Whoop, you get a little purple trail. And, yep, it just uses a quarter of your meter. But you get a quarter meter for ramming, so you'll always have it. Whoop. Next up, paths and movement. So I could show you. A lot of this is going to be recapping and showing you what I've already done before. But like, look at these lines right here. These are paths because there's a lot of enemies overlapping. I changed the way they work. I guess I won't really go into too much detail, but basically I have a lot more control. So now enemies can kind of fly in, stop, and then keep going. Before they had like an acceleration and a stopping deceleration. Now they have multiple speeds. So I have a lot more control over enemy movement. The background. Originally, the background was one gigantic, I think it was about 33,000 pixels tall. This whole thing was just one image at one point. And now, it is broken down into segments. So, I wasn't really having frames per second issues, but it literally wouldn't let me upload an image. I had to make it a little taller, and it's like, oh, this is as high as it goes. So I guess Godot has a limit to how large your images can be. I mean, it's better broken up this way, but went into Photoshop, broke it up, and now this is how it is. Yeah, it didn't take too long. Let's see here. I extended the level. I tweaked the mountains. The mountains are a bit different. You might have noticed in the very beginning. They kind of spread out. I was originally using a parallax node, but then I just keep using custom stuff. Like, I'll get into that later, but I keep switching to custom options because they just work better. Yeah, once you get into the level, it just kind of spreads out at the very beginning. Gives a bit of depth, see? And they move a little bit faster in the background. That's the same exact thing as a parallax effect, so figured why not. You might notice that the lighting changed a little bit. I didn't play through the whole level. I'll go through the level one time at the end of the video, but basically the start of the level, you can see it's a little dark. It's now sprite-based rather than canvas modulate-based, which is to say another custom node. It's just a sprite with a multiply on it, and I could tweak it as it goes. The reason why I did that was because I didn't want things like explosions and bullets, things that would be bright to our human eyes. I want those to be on top of it. And rather than create another canvas layer to put all the bullets and then reparent them and the explosions and then viewport stuff, like, no, I'm just going to use a sprite and use less processing power. So yeah, that's how that one works now. And we still have these little visual notifiers that when the camera interacts with this, we have this over here, the stop timer, adjusts the particles, wind speed. You can see the snow is coming down faster in the beginning and it slows down later. So it all works together. I also made a uniform string for like text. So when you saw the chapter 1 thing come on screen, that is using a string that says, okay, load this animation. It's all basic stuff. Yeah, the ice spires, I think those are one of the cooler things. There's a couple cool effects that I found on Godot Shaders. I think it's .com. But just search for Godot Shaders if you're a Godot developer, and you'll find lots of cool stuff that people just give out for free. Typically, the default doesn't work like I want, and in this case, the multiply effect wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I just went in and I tweaked it, and now finally we have this bit of it's a little bit of a magnify effect when you go under this ice bridge here. Let me see, just turn this on. Enable test elements. And I never full screen from the start because I want to be able to see the inspector and stuff. So yeah, here it is. I'm going slow-mo. And see it kind of like distorts the ship. It's a bit of a magnify effect from the center, but you can still see through it. And then I added the highlights are still super bright right there. Right now I have this ship, the Sentry in the center right here, set to show its HP because I was working on cracks. See how it got cracked a little bit? Oh, these bullets are going to hit the army. I'm cheating with the slow-mo. Yeah, let's go around here. Let's get that. And then we got the God Ray explosion. That's new, too. Oh, that was slowed down. Let's get rid of these guys. While I'm at it, you might notice the shadows. The ship shadows. Everything has a shadow. I was working on that today. Kind of got that finished. I'm sure I'll tweak it over time. I might blur them a little bit. There is a slight flicker to them. They flicker between 60 and 50%. But you probably won't even be able to notice in this video, actually. But, yeah. That's how it's at right now. I had a friend test this game out for me, and he's like, where are the shadows? How come the buttons feel weird? I switched the dash and the burst attack. Whoop, different buttons. So, his feedback actually helped a lot. I'm going to try and get more feedback from people. Maybe this week. Let's see here. We got the lighting, the ice spires, the pulse distortion wave. I think I've used it a couple times, but I'll just show that it's another shader I got from Godot Shaders. Didn't work at all like I wanted to, but it looked nice in their little animated GIF. So I had to make a few tweaks, but basically it takes the image around it and it distorts it. So see how it got a bit of a rainbowy effect to it. I'll do one more here. And the cracks only appear when you use the Ramm attack. Even if you get them down to 1 HP, the cracks will not appear. But yeah, the cracks are something that I did for the boss that's coming up. You're going to have destructible parts, and I'm like, I'm going to want to see cracks. And it never felt good when you're ramming big enemies. They just sit there like, oh, I just take it like a punch. But now I think the cracks kind of drive that home. And I'm not going to lie, kind of got that idea from playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, just the way everything breaks. It basically just pushed forward like, oh, things need to be more obviously breaking when I hit them with this giant pile bunker. Let's see, we talked about shadows already. The cracks. Health signals are used to get the cracks preparing for the boss fight. Man, I think I got through just about everything. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through the level, and then I'll go over the document. And I say the document. Originally, I called it a design document because a lot of my design ideas were in there. But as I've gone, a lot of design ideas have been implemented, and now I'm kind of looking at that document as a way for me to describe the game to other people. So, yeah, I'm trying to simplify it, because it seems like there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot compared to most shmups, and, I don't know, maybe you can give me comments in the comments section. Let me know what you think, if you're confused, don't understand how the game works. But, let's get into it. My lips are so dry. I don't know why, so if it looks like I'm hungry, like, licking my lips, it's just because they're dry. Sorry. I'm a weird dude. I put the lives at 5, and I put the chain at start to 5. I almost didn't show you. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my camera off for now. That's not how we turn the camera off. I'm going to turn my camera off for now so you can see the chain go up. But yeah, basically we're starting with 5 lives and 5 chain. One little thing is I added a little bit of a 1-up. Right now you get a 1-up at 100 points. That is not how it's going to be in the final game. It's going to be more like 50,000 points. And we're also in the wrong spot. And the lives flash when you get a 1-up or you lose a life. A lot of little things. A lot of little tweaks. Alright, so we'll see how high I can get my chain up, or if I can even get to the end. See the clouds. Also, I work on clouds. I didn't mention that. So yeah, as usual, we have these guys in the beginning, so you can just get lots of ram chain up. Oh, I'm getting hit. Oh, don't tell me. Why are you doing that? Oh my god. I may or may not have the Chapter 1 signal appearing twice at the moment. I'm not editing this. I'm too far in. I could edit it. Alright, so in real time, let's just see. We have this thing right here, which plays the Chapter 1 title. And then we have this thing right here, which does not play the Chapter 1 title. I don't know why it appeared again. This one also doesn't play the Chapter 1 title. Well, this is something that I'm going to have to fix for sure. I'll turn my camera on later, but Alright, let's move this down here. Move this down here, and then we'll start at the test point. And then hopefully the Chapter 1 thing won't come up. And we'll just turn off. I could disable the level tint here. I have everything set on my map center here. Alright, so we kind of just like jumped in the middle of this area. Oh, this guy's hitbox is not enabled right now. These guys didn't activate because their activation point was off screen when I started the level. Yeah, these guys are just all clustered around here. And this is the last guy. I need to turn off that HP thing. If you're real quick, you can just kill that guy right away. And then you get a bonus formation. If you wait a little bit, you'll be able to knock this guy into 2 guys. And I don't know if this isn't there before, but the crate only does 1 multiplier per now. Before, it functioned the same way as everything else, which was too much. It was overpowered. We got another ice fire here. Pretty basic enemies, so it's not really too distracting. And then this area is designed to be completed pretty easily. Oh, I missed that. This is always easy, though. That's a gimme. No need to ram those guys. In the new shadows, you kind of see enemies come up a little earlier, so you can see them coming. No, I missed him. And this is a good area to test, like, if you got your pulse ready, because there's a lot of bullets. Whoop. Okay, by that guy. 36 isn't too... I mean, I jumped ahead the middle level. Definitely gonna fix that title screen thing after this. Man, I didn't even mention upgrades. I tweaked the way upgrades work. I have it set right now that if you have 50 chain, you actually do double damage with all your attacks. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I have the lives to spare, whatever. Oh, these guys are timed a little weird. Let's tweak that. So here's the clouds. Gonna get the warning. But there's nothing to be afraid of because the boss is not here yet. So, 43 chain, not terrible. There I am again. Hello. Yeah, so I mentioned before, I recorded this video and Godot crashed the moment, like I said, hey, let's get going. And I was gonna keep going. And I'm like, nah, we'll start fresh. But nope, there's always gotta be something. That's just the nature of game development, I think. I'm not gonna open up the dock on stream. This time you're just gonna have to look at my face. I just going to go over quickly just the core mechanics of the game. And then that'll be it. You get an update for this month. Be all good. Probably should have opened that ahead of time. I could find it. Definitely don't want to share that. Here we go. Gameplay and characters. You know what? I could share this. That'd be easier. Yeah, you can't read that. It's tiny. So, player actions. We have the laser on X. It's a double bullet projectile. Can be held for rapid fire. Manual tapping is even faster. Deals 1 damage per bullet. The pulse is on B, using an Xbox controller as main reference. B or left trigger. It uses the full energy meter. It creates a shockwave around the player. The size is based on the chain gauge. It deals 1 damage, and it destroys bullets, except for a certain bullet that I have not introduced yet. The Ram attack is a melee attack right in front of the player's ship. Deals 10 damage to enemies and objects. Launches small enemies and objects in 3 directions, based on positioning, straight or both ways. Launched enemies leave the player area. Will score the same as if they were destroyed. Launched enemies and objects typically deal and receive 15 damage. I had it so that when you hit an enemy into another enemy, the enemy receiving would deal 8, and the enemy attacking would deal 15. I thought to myself, this is just needless difference in values. So I'm going to try and make it 15 even, so I got to change a few settings there. That is how you increase the chain gauge. If they have health remaining, they will keep going, racking up their chain bonuses. So like you saw the helicopter plowing through multiple enemies, that's because it had extra health. But if you shoot the helicopter first, you don't get that. So it's kind of good to wait. It's a risk-reward type of thing. If they have any health remaining, they keep going, and you get higher chain bonuses. So if you hit 1 enemy, you get 1, 2, and 3. And it maxes at 3. So if you hit 1 enemy into 2 enemies, you'll get a 1 and a 2. So you get 3 total. I think conveying this is maybe the one part where it gets like really wordy. And I think it's easy to understand once you play it, though. The dash attack, I might change the name to the Boost Ram because the whole name of the game is the RAMMBOK. So I was like, oh, well, the dash attack is just like a moving ram attack. So right now I'm calling it the dash attack. It's on Y and right trigger, in case you want to use either one. I actually like using the triggers personally. Reduces your chain gauge by 1. That's how you perform it. So if you have just one, you can't do it. So it's also your multiplier. So if you have your chain at 5, you're also multiplying your score received by 5. So it's, again, it's not really a risk reward, it's just like priorities. Like, do you want to get more score, or do you think you can use the dash to get more chain to bump it up higher? Let's see here. Deals 10 damage per hit, just like the Ram. Destroys bullets, and, well, I won't talk about that part. Speed shift. On left bumper, you could switch between high speed and low speed. I pretty much play on high speed all the time, but and I use an analog stick. This game has analog control, which is, I think, pretty rare for shooters like this. But if you want to use D-pad or a arcade stick, I think having the slow speed shift is good when there's more bullets on screen. I showed you the ram and cancel, which is when you hit the pulse button during a ram attack. It's roughly a 9-frame window, uses a quarter of your meter, and you get points for it. So it's worth doing, and it keeps you safe. The point-blank dash, I showed you that earlier. Gives you full meter if you dash point-blank into a bullet. Charge attacks is something that I'm still considering, so I'm not going to go into detail right now, but basically, once you hit 99 chain, you can spend a lot of that chain to do a lot of damage. So that is something I'm probably going to decide on after I work on the first boss fight. But what is the chain gauge? It's score multiplier. It's your ship upgrade system. It cannot drop below 1. It rises by 1 when an enemy smashes into another enemy or object. Further hits from the same enemy object increase chain by 2 or 3, like I was saying. I told you the example. Chain gauge will drop on death by 2. So when you die, your chain gauge goes down. And I'm toying with the idea of having an easy mode where your chain gauge does not go down. But that's all going to be in playtesting. Defeated enemies will have their score multiplied by the chain gauge, maxing out at 99. I may reduce that because 99 is a big discrepancy between 1 and 99. Again, playtesting. Ship upgrades. I've talked about ship upgrades, but I haven't really gone into a lot of detail. So when you get your chain gauge up to 2, you can do a dash attack. When you get up to 10, it increases the pulse size. You might have noticed the pulse size was a little different, depending on how much chain it was. Once you get to 10, it increases the pulse size. Get to 25, it doubles your energy meter regen speed. Now, a lot of these were in different places. That was originally like 50, now I'm at 25, so these are getting balanced as I go. But at 50 chain, I wanted 50 to be substantial, so I like double damage. But in testing, it just doesn't feel right. So I might get rid of it. And it took me a while to get the double damage stuff working, so we'll see. It might just be that I double the Ramm damage, but having the lasers do double damage just doesn't feel quite right. 75 chain, max pulse size. Basically, it's almost like full screen at that point. And then 99 chain charge attacks available. Energy meter. You saw me use energy meter. That is basically your pulse/burst. I'm still toying with what to call it. It's filled in a variety of ways. The meter automatically recovers over time. If you don't do anything, it'll recover fully in 20 seconds, which is pretty long, so you should probably do stuff. Each bullet will fill the meter by 3%. So every bullet that hits something fills it by 3%. And then Ramm, dash, and impact hits all fill the meter by 25%. Again, the cancel attack costs 25, so you always have it if you hit with it. And then that meter will regen faster if you have a higher chain. Pickups. There are no pickups implemented in the game at the moment, but I have plans for item pickups too. They can be acquired by clearing enemy formations or lines. You know, think Gradius. You kill all the enemies in a line, you get an upgrade, sort of like that. Hidden destructible things in the environment. And then credits that can be used to unlock bonus features, modes, art. That's all kind of going to come much later, but I got to plan ahead just so I know incentives for players to keep playing. Other pickups include extra lives, just points, chain boosts, Ramm letters, you know, like Kong. Again, I'm playing Donkey Kong right now. And like plasma to fill your meter, which I don't know if we even need now because of the way my energy works. And then lore books, you know, maybe not audio logs. I could record myself doing audio logs. That may be weird, but just give you more lore because there's not a lot of story in the middle of each level. It's more beginning and end of the levels. And then 1-ups. I added those right now. Right now you get one every 50,000 points, so I'm probably gonna tweak that for later point amounts to be higher. And then I added some tips here for how to like certain techniques you can use, so I'm not gonna go into that. And I have a bunch of ideas for gameplay and progression, leaderboards, dynamic scaling difficulty. Don't know if I'm doing that. I think that might be a lot, and I don't know if it'll work with my game, but it works well in Battle Garega, so I'm thinking about it. And then like maybe on your final death and it's game over, you leave a chain multiplier, so if you can get back to where you were, kind of like a Souls type thing, sort of. Co-op is actually something that I'm thinking about, like post-release, like free DLC, or we'll see. I shouldn't say that on here. Shh. But I'm definitely thinking about co-op. It's just not going to be in the main release, I don't think. Because I want it to feel different. I want it to be... The co-op ship is a totally different ship with different abilities. And you get to play as Cal and Lucy in that ship. Different routes, extra story. If you achieve 99 chain on chapters 1 through 3, hey, maybe there's a bonus level. These are all, again, ideas, things that come later. Lore logs, second loop, hard mode, easy mode, modifiers, and achievements. All of these things will probably be addressed down the road. I just want to give you a heads up on where we're headed. Where we headed right away, next, is the boss. And, yeah, you know what? I'll just give you a sneak peek at what he looks like. I already made the sprites for this boss, but he's not broken up in a way that he can, like, animate and have destructible parts. So, I'll show you what it is now, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna look and feel a lot different once we get there. So this is the Scrapper boss. What's a good shot that I could show you? I only have animations, huh? Oh well. Hey, how about this? So here we have the Scrapper opening up a canopy and spawning enemies. And here's one. Divers coming out. So obviously, you're probably going to destroy these canopies. You could already see that this is a phase where his arms are destroyed. And then, no clamp attack. These are all made in Photoshop. You can see like the animation is like obviously not final on this one, but just an idea of where he said, "Oh God, look at that." You know what? I really need to edit these videos. There was no nudity in that. It's fine. All right, I'm an amateur. Thanks everybody for hanging out while I went over my haphazard ideas. RAMMBOK is still in development. We're really making some progress, and I'm pretty excited where it's headed. Far less crying than usual. I think we're getting there. Again, if you want to support development of this game, please head to patreon.com/hybridmink. There is a producer tier if you want your name in the credits, and that'll let me keep working on this game. Other than that, you can check out hybridmink.com. There's a RAMMBOK page, which I recently updated. You can watch all these devlogs there if you don't want to go to YouTube directly. And I think that's it. Oh, twitch.tv/hybridmink. Sometimes I work on RAMMBOK on stream. A lot of times I work on commissions that you just saw there by accident. Again, it's no nudity. It's cool. Be cool, YouTube. All right. Thanks, and I'm out. Bye-bye.